We're back with another Techstination interview. Glad you're with us. I'm Fred Fishkin. Making use of technology to keep families together has been so important during the past year. And some of us have learned that it can be great even when all of this separation from the pandemic ends. With us is Aaron Neuenschwander, the CEO of a company called Readeo. Thanks for joining us, Aaron.
Hey, thanks for having me, Fred.
Give us the overview of what Readeo is all about.
Yeah, so really at the heart of Readeo is about connecting families and more particularly connecting generations. So we do that by combining video chat with children's books. So we have a digital library of over 500 children's books from 10 different publishers. And our customers are able to sign up, create an account, invite their friends and family to join, and then they're able to share story time together virtually, no matter where they are.
Sounds really cool. And it works on various platforms, devices?
Yeah, so it's all browser based right now. So primarily our customers are using it, via their computer, whether that's a laptop or a desktop, and then also their tablets. And we are busy at work to get an app out for iOS and Android as well. So will be launched here in the next couple months.
What's the story behind this?
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting. My parents are both educators. So my mom was an English teacher teaching high school English, and my dad is he was an adjunct professor at a university here in Utah, which is where Readeo started. And they spent a lot of time reading books with us, and education was a huge deal in our home. And then my older brother, Kobe, had his first son named Oliver. And Kobe's son spent a lot of time reading books with my parents to kind of continue that tradition, as many grandparents do with their grandkids. And my brother, Kobe, actually got accepted to an MBA program out in Chicago. And so, he moved away, and the relationship that my parents had with Oliver kind of moved away as well, which I think is kind of common for a lot of grandparents, once their grandkids move away. And so they, tried to find ways to bridge those gaps. And I think at the time, this was over 10 years ago, at the time they tried Skype, and that just didn't cut it, didn't even get close to kind of creating that same connection. And so he thought, well, I'm here at business school, I'm learning about businesses and startups. And so he thought, well, why don't I start a virtual storytime experience? And really at that time, he really was ahead of his time in many ways. We were some of the first people to go and talk with companies like Simon & Schuster and other big publishers about their digital rights. And the iPad had just come out. It didn't have a camera on it. Our target market, which was largely grandparents, they weren't online as much. People weren't used to spending $10 a month for content online like they are now with Disney Plus and Netflix and all the others. And so after he built the platform, this business became more of a passion project for him and for the other founders. And so for about 10 years, they, continued to kind of perfect the platform as best they could. And they also received a patent on the idea for Readeo combining video chat with children's books. And then it wasn't until COVID actually really started taking off that we looked a little bit harder at the business and said, well, there's all these signs that Readeo is going to be, much better off today than it was 10 years ago. So this is really the right time for us to have our proper, coming out party, if you will. And so I was working at a Silicon Valley tech startup called Lambda School. I'd done my own startups for a few years, and I'd obviously heard a lot about Readeo. And so Kobe approached me about joining the team as CEO, and really, kind of pushing Readeo to new heights. And for the last about 10 months, we've just seen incredible growth. We've spent a lot of time rebuilding our product and getting that up to speed and acquiring new customers. So we've seen about 10x growth in the last 8 months. We've raised a seed round, and we're now looking to raise a Series A to continue to help us grow the business.
Very, very interesting. So from the customer's perspective, step us through how it's used.
Yeah, so, customers are able to go to our website and sign up for, everyone gets a free trial of 14 days. And we also have a money back guarantee at any time. So if there are any issues or, for whatever reason, it's kind of a no questions asked money back guarantee. Once they sign up, it's very quick and easy sign up process. Then they, enter into the Readeo kind of experience where after they've logged in, and they're able to invite any of their, what we call book chat buddies. So your book chat buddies are anyone that you want to connect with and read stories to. So this might be, if you're a grandparent, you're typically inviting your children to create accounts, and then, the children of the grandparent who are, the parents of the grandchildren are creating accounts for free. So we have a family plan, which allows up to 5 full access member accounts for the price of 1. So, grandma can sign, or grandpa could sign up 4 of their other households, which, covers most grandparents. And then the grandchildren are able to access Readeo through their parents' account. And the grandchildren can read books at any time on their own through what's called our e-reader, kind of book reader interface. So they can pull up any of our 500 books, individually. We have early reader books so that children who are learning to read can, practice their reading skills and hone their skill set there. But then the real main objective is for loved ones to connect virtually. And so once you've invited your book chat buddies and you're in the dashboard, you can actually request a book chat with any of your friends, any of your book chat buddies who are either members or guests of Readeo. So once you do that, you're put into a virtual kind of chat room, so to speak, where you're able to see each other like we're seeing each other now, and you're able to pull up, any of our over 500 books there together. So it's a really fun way to connect. We have also the ability to do what we call party chat, which is where you can have up to 4 individuals on the same book chat. So that's really fun. My mom does that with her grandchildren who are scattered across the US. And it's a fun way for cousins to connect and all be reading the same book together, and for my mom to, have that time to connect with the grandchildren again. And our average session on Readeo lasts about 30 minutes. So the average, 2 people or 4 people are spending about 30 minutes reading books together, which ends up being about a little over 4 books every session.
Is there a limit to how long you can stay on with it?
No, there's no limit. So your $10 a month subscription or $100 a year covers unlimited book chats and access to all of our books. And we actually add new books every week as well. So this week we'll add about 25 new books. We're always adding new books. And then we also just added some books in other languages too. So we'll be continuing to expand our books in other languages. So we have about 25 or 30 books in Spanish. And then we also have just started adding books in French too.
That's terrific. So the reading experience with the you have the videos of each participant and the book itself, and
Yep.
how does it work turning the pages? If I turn a page, do their pages automatically turn? How does it work?
Yeah, correct. So either side can turn the page. Usually it's, the child that's reading along because it's fun for them to be able to, turn the page. And we do have some controls within the book chat experience. So sometimes, toddlers can be a little bit unruly with pushing buttons and doing things. And so we do have the ability to lock the screen if that's desired. Otherwise, it's a fun time for either party to flip through the page. And then you obviously see that basically in real time. So you're always looking at the same page. There's the ability to point things out with a cursor. If you're seeing something fun on the page that you want to draw attention to. And then there's also the ability to zoom in a little bit closer on the font. If sometimes the fonts the font size can be kind of small, or the print, and so there's ability to zoom in also. And then once you get to the end of a book, you can review that book. So it's fun for both sides to talk about what they thought about the book, and if it should get a 1-star or a 5-star rating. And then you also have the ability to add it to what's called a virtual bookshelf. So every user on Readeo is able to create a virtual bookshelf, which is really fun. So I have a bookshelf for my daughter, and I add all the books that she loves, or that I think she'd love, or that we'd want to read later. And then anyone that's on our family plan can also see those same books together. So if my mom wanted to spend time reading to my daughter, she already knows what her favorite books are, and she can see those because she's part of our same family plan.
What's the age range that you have books for?
Yeah, so when we started out, we kind of focused on the 0 to 8-year-old age range. Since last summer, we decided we had a lot of interest for a little bit older content for older readers. And so we actually bumped that age range from 0 to 8 to actually 0 to 11. So we started introducing, chapter books and just longer form content, or content that's just a little bit, more suitable for older ages. So we now have the ability, to cater towards any children kind of 0 to 11 years old.
What are some of the advantages you have over other solutions that might be out there, even some of the makeshift solutions a lot of folks are using, FaceTime and showing a book on the, flipping the camera around, or using, say, the Kindle library on a computer and Zoom, and kind of a hybrid thing with sharing screens?
I think your explanation kind of points out some of the difficulties, is that it's just complex and there's a lot to it, and you're pulling up one library and then figuring out a way to potentially share it somewhere else through a screen share. And I guess the thing we see a lot of is someone that's got a book and is trying to show you the words, but you're not quite sure on the screen how to get them to see it and how for you to see it. It's just,
or with the kids, the pictures, right? Sure,
you're right, and that's what they love, and it's just it takes the focus away from meaningful interaction to just kind of a stressful, experience, craning your neck. So there's some people who've used Readeo who've said that they used to buy 2 sets of a book. So they'd send one book to the other reader, and then they'd keep a set, and they'd both have it in front of them, which is kind of a creative way to do it. But when you think about our library of 500 books, and you would need to spend quite a bit of money on buying 2 sets of each of those books, and everything else that comes with a $10 membership, $10 a month membership, it just becomes a no-brainer. So there's all of that, which just we make it as simple and intuitive as we can, and it just makes the experience that much better. And then we'll be coming out with some additional features as well, which there's some things that we just can't replicate with into the digital world. And we're not trying to replace a physical kids book, because we still believe and really strongly, I'd say, believe that having physical copies of kids books is a great thing, and we're not trying to replace that experience. But There are a lot of things on the digital side that we can do that you can't do on a, when you're reading a physical book. So whether that's like a pop-up tutorial or a pause and ponder type prompt for an adult to say, hey, now's a great time to ask the child, what are they understanding? And, what do they think about what it's like to be an astronaut? And, would they ever want to be an astronaut? What would that be like? So there are all these things I think that we can continue to build into the product to add value to our customers. Not to mention the fact that we're going to, continue to add content, but also create custom content as well that's exclusive to Readeo.
Sounds very exciting. So for more information and to sign up, where's the best place for folks to go?
Yeah,
and tell us again about the platforms. Will it work on a phone, or do you need to have a bigger screen?
Yeah, you can pull up Readeo on your phone. You can sign up on your phone. You can read books on your own on the phone experience. But it's not yet intended for strictly phone use to do the video chat experience. We're very close to launching a phone app, so that won't be as big of an issue or an issue going forward. But we do recommend most users have a better time on a larger screen. So, we push them to using a computer or a tablet of some sort. I have the site here. I'm happy to kind of show you quickly, if that's of interest, how it works and how you get into the platform. This is our homepage here, and you can learn more about how everything works, and you can watch a fun video, and you can read some reviews and see some of our partners here. And then, go here to log in. I've already have an account, and then this will take me into the dashboard, and I can actually run through a system check and make sure that everything's set up correctly. I need to allow the site to access my camera and my audio or my mic, so it'll run you through this prompt to make sure that everything works correctly. Once it goes through the check, kind of the onboarding system check, you're then able to watch a kind of a step-by-step tutorial here. It's about a 2-minute long video, which will walk you through how to do everything in the platform, which is really helpful. And then this is the interface here, which is what kind of everyone sees when they log in. I've got a lot of buddies here that I'm able to book chat with, and if any of these buddies were online, I could request a book chat with them. I mentioned our virtual bookshelves, so I can see like my daughter's bookshelf here, and these are some of her favorite books. And if I find any new books that I'd like to add to her bookshelf, that's always easy to do. So these are some of our new books. By using our filters here, we've got a lot of different filters to help you find the books you're looking for. Again, we started adding some books in Spanish and French. So these are all books that we've added in the last 2 weeks here. And then here's one of our early reader books. So you'll see that with the one in the corner. There's a 1, 2, or 3. And then if I find a book that I'm excited about reading, I can, obviously add it to my shelf. I can see some information about it. And then if I want to read this book on my own, I can, pop it up and read it here. So a lot of parents love subscribing to Readeo just to have new books every night to read with their kids, even if they're not, separated by distance. And as I mentioned, you can, flip through the pages here, which makes it really fun. The images are really big. You've got some controls here to kind of zoom in on certain things or make the text larger. And there's also this ability to tilt the book to make it feel more 3D. So, some fun aspects. And then at any time I can pop my library back open and choose another book once we've, read something and want to jump into a new book. We can do that quickly and easily here too. So, pop up a new book. And if we were on a book chat together, we would see each other here at the top of the screen. Very similar to how Zoom works. And At the end of the book, you can, as I mentioned, review the title, and you can also add it to your bookshelf. So I'm just going to click through here and kind of show you what that's like. Once you get to the end of a book, it makes it fun. I know a lot of parents, grandparents will ask their child to review the title and say, what did you think of that? And they can do 1 through 5 stars and read it again, or they can add it to their shelf. And then they can also pull up any of these other books that we feel like they might like.
Well, it looks terrific. It sounds like it's really full featured. So the site, once again, for more information is Readeo, READEO.com. Aaron Neuenschwander, thank you so much for taking the time with us.
Yes, of course. Thanks, Fred. I enjoyed sharing more about Readeos. So hopefully we'll see some of the audience over on Readeo here shortly.